Welcome back to my official YouTube channel. This is Gaurav. Um, Today I will be discussing about look. Everybody knows that India will be playing some practice matches ahead to the England tour. So the practice matches starts from tomorrow. We'll be discussing about that. And recently, I think Michael Vaughan has commented about that England team. That England team is quite a remarkable team right now, and it is almost unbeatable. Okay, he has said that that England team is almost unbeatable at what you call in white ball format. We will be discussing about that, and obviously we'll discuss later bit of Sri Lanka tour and definitely about Pakistan and England match. So Lucas has joined us all the way from Australia. Lucas, welcome back to my show, mate. And how are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm very good, thank you.
So first of all, let's go to the practice match. Starts from tomorrow. That will be heading in Durham, I think. And so, what's your point on the practice match? India will be playing a practice match ahead of England tour. So, what are the key points you will be looking on that practice matches, Lucas?
Well, I think it's an opportunity missed by England. Their squad is really not impressive to me. Um, for one, they're not using their main wicket taker in Luke Fletcher, who is their main wicket taker in the LV County Championship this season so far for Nottinghamshire. So they're not using him. I thought they'd be using Ben Slater or Hamid as the opening spot, which they're not. So I think it's a very tamed 11 from England. I thought they would have probably used some players just to give them a warm up, just to give them extra practice for the Indian series. Like I honestly thought players like Ollie Robinson would have got to go. Probably even Joe Root would have captained the team, but they've gone a completely different direction, playing a very inexperienced squad. They've actually got some players that haven't even played a domestic game yet, which is very strange for me. Whether they'll play is another thing, but I find that extremely weird. But I think it's just a missed opportunity by the ECB to play these players who are in terrific form, like Luke Fletcher, Ben Slater, Hamid, who are leading the run scoring in the opening position, where their openers have struggled. Dom Sibley has struggled for England. Rory Burns has not so much better. So I thought the Hamid and Ben Slater would have opened, but so they've missed a trick there. But India, on the other hand, this is a very good opportunity for their bowlers to get into some form against this tamed English team, and I expect them to do well. India to do very well in this game, considering the squad that England will use, and I expect these bowlers to get right back where they should be, on top, and use this game as a guide path to win the series against England.
You have made a very good point, Lucas. You have said everything about England. Let's move on to the Indian team. What are the key points you will be looking in the Indian team that they need to improve on this practice match, and what are the things you will be looking in this practice match, Lucas?
Well, for one, Richard Pant won't be playing because of COVID. So this is a big opportunity for KL Rahul to step up, to show that what he's worth in these conditions. Also, I'm looking at Jasprit Bumrah. His form has been very poor lately. So this is a perfect opportunity to get him into form, to get him to bowl the right line and length in England, and adjust to these kind of pitches. Because he had a horrible World Test Championship final against New Zealand, where his line was all wrong. He didn't really bowl full. He bowled very short at times, and this is just a very good opportunity to get your line right against this tamed English lineup. Another player I'll also be looking at is Pujara. Now he's another player that's out of form. Personally, I would have put Pujara as an opener in this game, to see what he can do as an opener. That's me personally. But also another player, Agarwal. He's another guy that's going to come in to replace Gill. Interesting to see if he can get a good start, and if he can get some confidence into his batting on these conditions.
Obviously, mate, you have made a very good point about that. First of all, that we need to look at that KL Rahul as a keeper in Test match, because he has kept in white ball format, but he hasn't kept at all in Test ball cricket, in red ball cricket. So we will be definitely be looking at KL Rahul, the keeper in red ball format, and definitely the Mayank Agarwal as an opener. He will be coming back as an opening slot, because Shubman Gill is not available in this series, and he will be definitely not playing for the first 2 or 3 matches. You never know; he may be out of the series right now, Shubman Gill. So it's a big blow for Team India. We will
Yeah.
not go on this on that matter, because coming back to the practice match, obviously you made a very good point about Jasprit Bumrah, because considering his form, once he is back away after that big injury layback, what you call it, he's not been the same kind of a bowler that he used to be, who was very good earlier. Once that injury happened, and he looked completely different bowler after that. So these are the 2 or 3 points which we'll be looking after. And one more point I want to make it, that basically everybody is saying that KL Rahul will be definitely be looked after in playing in the middle orders, because once there are the question marks in the Cheteshwar Pujara's place and Ajinkya Rahane's place. So whoever performs bad, KL Rahul will be definitely batting in the middle order. So that will be the very important factor in the practice matches on moving ahead to the what you call it, the test series. So what's the point, Lucas?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting series. I think once again, like the New Zealand game, the World Test final, I think it's going to be a bowling series. I think whoever bowls the best will win the series. Now, during these months where it gets hotter in England, the pitches do become more drier, and more runs can be scored. But I still think, both teams are very fragile with their batting. We can't judge India's batting lineup until what they do in the practice match. England, they have picked in the county squad. They have picked some questionable decisions, but they have picked a young bowler called Bamber. He's very young, and he averages around 25 in the domestic cricket scene. So he's an exciting player to watch, to see what he can do against these Indian openers. But going back to the series, I think this will be a bowling series. I don't see many runs being scored in any of these games. We saw that last year, 2 years ago, with Australia and England, where Steve Smith was probably the only difference from Australia reaching 250 to 350. So it's going to be predominantly bowling. A player from India or England like Joe Root, who has been horribly out of form at home. He hasn't made 100 at his home for 3 years, which is absolutely incredible. If you want to look at his actual record, no Test 100 in 3 years at home. That's very bizarre for a player of his quality.
In home, basically,
So
you're trying to say that he hasn't made 100 in his home condition, because he has made recently a double hundred
yeah,
in the Indian series.
he's made plenty of runs in Asia. As you said, that double hundred against India. He's made 100 against Sri Lanka. Not too far apart from the Indian series, but at home he's for 3 years he's really struggled. Whether it's confidence thing, whether he's playing too much IPL or T20, it's just one of those very bizarre
Sorry,
things.
man, he hasn't played IPL yet. He hasn't played any IPL match yet. So I don't know. But he is playing T20 Blast right now, but he hasn't played any IPL, or he's not been part of any leagues at all. He's
Yeah,
currently playing Netflix T20 Blast only.
yeah, he plays the Blast for Yorkshire. I don't know the specific name because their T20 Blast and their county names are different, but he plays for Yorkshire, whatever they call him. But his form is roaring. It's roaring in England. So that's the key difference. Kohli as well. 100 from Kohli. In any of these Test matches could be the big difference between India getting 250 and 350, like we saw with Steve Smith 2 years ago. Same with England. That their opening and their middle orders are shambles. You cannot expect any of those guys to get 100. Can you really say that Dom Sibley can get 100? Can you say you can rely on Joe Burns getting 100? Can you rely on Joe Root getting 100? It's just going
Tell
to
me,
be.
mate, why this is too much of a hype of Roddy Burns and Dom Sibley? Because people are in Australia, as far as I know, are making fun of Dom Sibley and Roddy Burns because. As far as I know, I'm not talking about Dom Sibley, but Roddy Burns looks much better than Dom Sibley. Go ahead with that.
Well, Rory Burns has been probably England's best opener. He had a fantastic Ashes in 2019 in England, where he looked probably their best batsman, arguably in that 11. And this year, against New Zealand, he looked probably their best opener. Sibley looked awful. Now, I understand Sibley's got a fantastic average in the domestic scene. In the LV County Insurance 4-ball tournament. He has a fantastic average. He averages most out of any opener in the county. But for some reason, he cannot get it going in the Test matches, which is not uncommon. It does happen. But there are far worse openers around the world than Dom Sibley. He's not the only one. But he seems to take a lot of criticism from the English press, despite making all these runs in the county domestic season.
Okay, let's move on to the move ahead after the practice match and moving on to the Michael Vaughan has given a statement that currently the England has the best white ball format. Currently, England are the best team in the white ball format because they have the best talent pool currently in the world right now, and they are almost unbeatable in ODIs and they are much ahead in the T20 World Cup. They are what do you call it? This is the best chance to this is the best chance for England team to win a T20 World Cup because they haven't had any weakness in this team. So what's your point on that? Go ahead, Lucas.
Well, nobody's unbeatable. We saw that with fantastic teams. Ricky Ponting's golden generation. Nobody gave England a chance in that 2005 Ashes series, and they bet Australia. So, no one is unbeatable. Anybody can lose at their day. Upsets happen. But, of course, England have one of the best white ball teams going around in world cricket. People are debating whether Stokes should be in the team or not. Ben Stokes is one of the best all-rounders in the world, and he can't even get into the T20 team. So, what makes them so strong?
He's also injured right now just because that team was in isolation and all the team, some of the players got corona positive and all the players were in isolation. So he was eagerly fly back from New Zealand to England and join the team. Otherwise, he said in the interview, if that emergency didn't happen, then he wouldn't have played this series just because this happened and he went on to play this series because he also he is also facing some injuries plus he's having the problem with his thumb and God knows what more he's facing right now, but he would be still part of this T20 squad. But there is one more point also that England doesn't find any problem even he's not playing in this T20 side. He's not been in the T20 side, but England doesn't look like that. They want the proper all-rounder called Ben Stokes. Go ahead, Lucas.
Now, when you look around on the social media and all by people, there's a massive debate whether Ben Stokes should be in this team or not. For some reason, they like their white ball setup. The main reason why their white ball setup is so strong is their depth. So if one player gets injured, whether it's up the top, an opener, they can bring in someone like Alex Hales in from Nottingham. If a bowler gets injured, they can bring in somebody else. If a wicketkeeper gets injured, they can bring in Butler. They got Bairstow that can keep. Their depth is probably better than probably the most depth playing nation out of them all, especially in their white ball cricket. Because a player, we've seen them players miss games with COVID, and against Pakistan, their second string, they played a second string team. And, Pakistan, on their day can beat absolutely anybody, and they got thrashed badly in those games. So it just goes to show how depth England cricket really has within their white ball squads.
Okay, Rupendra has joined us. Rupendra, welcome back to my show. चलिए आपसे बात करते हैं, थोड़ा सा हिंदी में भी बात कर लें दर्शकों के लिए, क्योंकि हिंदी भी लोग सुनना चाहते हैं. पहले मुझे ये बताइए, माइकल वॉगन का स्टेटमेंट ये था कि करंटली इंग्लैंड के पास सबसे बेस्ट टैलेंट ऑफ पूल है और वो ऑलमोस्ट अनबीटेबल है, और T20 वर्ल्ड कप के लिए वो मतलब सबसे बेस्ट चांस है उनका T20 वर्ल्ड कप जीतने का, क्योंकि वो एक तरीके से अनबीटेबल है. इस पे आपका क्या कहना है रुपेंद्र? आपकी मर्जी, आप हिंदी में भी बोल सकते हैं, इंग्लिश में भी बोल सकते हैं, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है.
या जी बिल्कुल, मैंने उनका स्टेटमेंट पढ़ा था, लाइक आपने जो ट्वीट भी शेयर किया था उनका देखा मैंने. हाँ, कह सकते हैं, लेकिन क्योंकि इंग्लैंड की टीम, इंग्लैंड की बी या सी टीम भी कह सकते हो आप, जो पाकिस्तान के साथ खेल रही थी ओडीआई मैच, वहां पे उनका स्ट्रेंथ दिखा. लेकिन आपको पता है कि होम कंडीशन में ऑब्वियस आपकी सेकंड टीम भी आपके जो मेन टीम होती है किसी की भी टीम को, आपको लाइक आपकी कंडीशन में कोई भी टफ कंपटीशन दे सकता है. तो मैं अग्री करूंगा उसके ऊपर. लेकिन जैसे जी उनकी जो सेकंड बात है कि उनकी टीम लाइक वर्ल्ड कप जीत सकेंगी, वो भी यूएई में, यहाँ पे मुझे डाउट है, क्योंकि मुझे नहीं लगता है कि उनके उतना एक्सपीरियंस यानी उतने जो यानी मुझे लगता है कि यूएई की कंडीशन उन बैट्समैन को सूट करेंगी. क्योंकि इस वजह से मुझे लगता है कि इंग्लैंड के जो स्टेटमेंट आया था माइकल वॉन का अगेंस्ट की इंग्लैंड इज द बेस्ट टीम टू विन द वर्ल्ड कप, T20 वर्ल्ड कप दिस ईयर, आई एम जस्ट टोटली डिसएग्री विद हिम स्टेटमेंट. मुझे लगता है कि यहाँ पे फेवर करेंगी जो भी सब कॉन्टिनेंट की टीम खेलेगी, उसी को फेवर करेगी. जैसे इंडिया की बात कर सकते हैं, इंडिया की स्ट्रेंथ भी सबसे बेस्ट स्ट्रेंथ आज के लिए मानी जा सकती है, क्योंकि मैं इंग्लैंड को शायद मैं सेकंड नंबर दे दूं. इंडिया के बाद इंग्लैंड ही ऐसी वाइड टीम है कि जो 2-3 टीमें बना सकती है और वो काफी अच्छा लाइक कंपटीशन दे सकती है. जैसे आप अगर इंडिया की जो सेकंड टीम की बात करें, या इंडिया की थर्ड टीम भी बन सकती है अगर आप बनाने जाते हो, वो भी काफी बेस्ट टीम बन सकती है. वो किसी भी टीम को लाइक कहीं पे भी इन एनी कंडीशन वो टफ टाइम दे सकती है. तो जैसे आपने देखा इंडिया के जो मैचेस हुए हैं लास्ट, जो कल का ये मैच हुआ, उसमें आप देख सकते हैं चाहे टॉप ऑर्डर हो या बॉलर्स हो, उसमें तो लाइक आधे लोगों को चांस ही नहीं मिल रहा. आप नवदीप सैनी की बात कर ले, लाइक बॉलर्स में, बैट्समैन में तो आपके पास लॉट है, आप चाहे किसी को भी ट्राई कर सकते हैं, एनीवन कैन परफॉर्म. तो वही इंग्लैंड की वैसी बात हो रही है कि मुझे लगता है इंग्लैंड के पास भी डेप्थ है, कोई इशू नहीं, उनकी स्ट्रेंथ भी काफी अच्छी है, लेकिन उनके कंडीशन में वो परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं. और वही अगर बात करें कि जो पाकिस्तान ने फर्स्ट T20 में उनको हरा भी दिया था, लाइक अब कह सकते हैं कि लैक ऑफ शायद वो उन्होंने हल्का ले लिया ओइन मॉर्गन ने, कि भाई हम T20 तो काफी आसानी, सॉरी ओडीआई तो काफी आसानी से हरा के आगे पाकिस्तान को, वहां पे वो मात खा गया. इस वजह से मुझे लगता है कि माइकल वॉन की एक हिस्से में अग्री करूंगा कि इंग्लैंड के पास काफी अच्छा स्ट्रेंथ है, ऑब्वियस, नो डाउट इट. लेकिन वो वर्ल्ड कप के लिए फेवरेट्स होंगे, फेवरेट्स तो होंगे, लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि वो शायद यूएई में वर्ल्ड कप जीत पाएंगे. लेकिन मैं वहां पे भी मैं इंडिया को चांस दूंगा कि शायद वो वर्ल्ड कप जीतेंगे यहाँ पे, तो भी यूएई में.
Okay, so Lucas, basically Rupendra was saying that the subcontinent teams are favorite to win the T20 World Cup because they have the what you call the strength to perform well in the subcontinent, and they have the quality spinners, and they have much better talent pool. Currently the India has the better talent pool. Okay, moving ahead to the next topic, guys. The Pakistan and England series. Once Rupendra has said about the Pakistan and England series. So I think the decider will be decided will be played tomorrow, right? So that will be happening tomorrow. So what's your take on the series, guys, and who will win the tomorrow's big match? Lucas, go ahead, mate. I know it's our favorite topic, the T20 cricket and all. So you need to go ahead with that. Lucas, go ahead.
The major player that will be the difference is the former Baba Azam. His ODI series wasn't really that good in the first two games, but when he performs, Pakistan do really well. He found form in the third ODI series, and he found form in the first T20 series. So he's a huge difference to this Pakistan. If he has a poor T20 World Cup tournament, Pakistan have no chance. That's how good he is. You know, if he has an absolute lights out tournament where he averages 40 plus, then Pakistan have every chance to win the T20 World Cup. But if he makes low scores, then they won't even get out of that group. So he needs to step up big time. I've mentioned this last week that the pressure can get to him as a captain. The captaincy can get to you as a player. Some players react differently to the captaincy. Some players love it. Some players hate it. Some players, they shrink. They don't believe in themselves. So it's very hard as a captain. But the last two games, he has found his form, and he needs to convert his hundreds. That's the only problem I'll say with Babar Azam. He doesn't really convert his 50s into hundreds all that often. So he needs to convert those 50s into 100. And I think Pakistan are a chance in these T20s. I think England will still win. But if there any chance, Babar Azam needs to turn those 50s, those 60s into hundreds. We know he's more than capable. We know he can do it. But it is a concentration thing. He cruises along, and then he gets stuck a couple of balls, and then he plays a loose shot, he gets out. So he needs to keep his concentration. Having said that, I still think England will win this game.
Okay.
रुपेंद्र, you want to say something? आपको क्या लगता है कि किसका चांस ज्यादा है और कल क्या हो सकता है? रुपेंद्र, आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है? रुपेंद्र, am I audible?
Okay, Rupendra, you're on.
Rupendra, I think you're not audible. Okay, I think Rupendra is not able to hear anything. Lucas, am I audible to you?
You're good. You're good.
अभी आ
Okay, so Rupendra, अगर आपको आवाज आ रही है तो मैं कंटिन्यू करूं? He's facing some internet issue. Lucas, so you have said everything you want to say about that series. You are basically backing that England team to win because obviously they are playing in their home series, and obviously they have the better talent. And considering you're saying about the Babar Azam, it's not only the Babar Azam. I think the Mohammad Rizwan also needs to click because he's also a big player for Pakistan team, and he also needs to click. And considering the problem Pakistan team has is the middle order, and the middle order batting is look like a fragile middle order because nobody went on to play like Mohammad Hafiz do, or even they need a player like Virat Kohli, Williamson kind of a player in the middle order, and they are lacking that kind of a player in their middle order because Babar Azam is batting in the what you call it in the opening slot. Mohammad Rizwan is also moved on with the opening slot, and nobody in the middle order, and that's the problem. Once Babar Azam and Rizwan got out early, the chances of winning Pakistan is becoming almost impossible to win a Pakistan to win any match for Pakistan. So the two are the main problems. And can you imagine Fakhar Zaman is playing in the middle order, playing at number 4 and number 5 in the T20s because basically he's an opener also. Go ahead.
Well, it's very strange for Babar to open. Having said that, it is working. He is making runs. But why would you use a player like Babar Azam as your opener when he can do that for you in the lower order and middle order where they're having problems? Yes, it is working.
He can bat at number 3 because look, the team situation needs him to bat at number 3 because nobody is in the team who can what do you call it, run the game like Virat Kohli does, like the Kane Williamson does, like the Joe Root does for the various teams. So once he opens and Rizwan also opens, there is nobody in this team. There is only one player, Mohammad Hafiz, but he's now 38, and you don't know about his place also because people are also questioning about his form. And currently, he's having a 38 years old, because just because of 1-2 bad innings, people start questioning about your what do you call it, the place. in the team, because you are 38, you are not in your 30s or in 32 or 33s. People will not question your place in the T20 side, but once you are in 38 year age, so people start questioning about your place. So that's the problem Pakistan are facing. Lucas, go ahead.
Well, well, with all due respect, if they're having problems with the number three, number four, isn't that what the PSL is? Isn't that why we have leagues like this to find players at these kind of levels? We've seen with the IPL, India find fantastic players because of the IPL, because these players are making runs everywhere in the order. We've seen that in the Big Bash League. We've seen players make their debuts because they're doing well in the domestic seasons. Now, if Pakistan can't find anybody in the PSL, well, I'm sorry, then that's just bad luck. That's why you have leagues like this, to find domestic players at this level, and then try them in tournaments like this. Let's be honest, this is not a World Cup tournament. This is really a warm up series. This is just trying to find your best team, your best situation before the World Cup. So it's up to Pakistan, the Pakistan Cricket Board, the coaching, to find players at the domestic level in the PSL and put them into the team.
Okay, a final topic of discussion is India versus Sri Lanka series will be the second ODI will be played tomorrow. So what's your take, guys? रुपेंद्र मुझे आपसे जानना है सेकंड ओडीआई में आपकी क्या प्रेडिक्शन है, कुछ उम्मीद है श्रीलंका से? फिर हम लोग क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन पे चलेंगे. You're not audible.
सॉरी
You're
सॉरी
not
हाँ
audible,
जिस
रुपेंद्र.
इंडिया हाँ जिस तरह की बैटिंग कर रही है ना, और जिस तरह की इंडिया के पास प्लेयर है और जैसी बॉलिंग इंडिया कर रही है, तो मुझे कोई चांस नहीं दिखता कि श्रीलंका से यहाँ से पास पास तक के आ सकती है, क्योंकि जैसे कि आपने देखा होगा फर्स्ट इनिंग में ही जो जो मुझे तो सबसे बेस्ट, अगर आप मुझे मूवमेंट पूछेंगे लास्ट मैचेस का, तो मैं ओपनिंग में जो बैटिंग हुई ना, जो 5.5 ओवर, वो सबसे बेस्ट है मेरे लिए। तो मे बी लूकस भी शायद अग्री करेगा इस बात से। तो आप समझ सकते हैं कि इंडिया किस माइंडसेट से ये सीरीज खेल रहा है। भाई जाना है आपको, अग्रेसिवली खेलना है, चाहे वहां पे आप सूर्य कुमार यादव की बात कर ले, ईशान किशन की बात कर ले, पृथ्वी शॉ की बात कर ले, यहाँ पे आप एक्सपीरियंस बैट्समैन शिखर धवन ही जो ऐसे दे कि जिसने ज्यादा बॉल खेले और काफी अच्छे से स्लो है स्टेडी जैसा, क्योंकि वो एक्सपीरियंस बल्लेबाज थे और उन्हीं को ये गेम चलाना था, तो उनका एक ये था कि भाई चलो हम गेम चलाते। तो बाकी बैट्समैन इंडिया के साथ खेले, जिनका भी डेब्यू था या जो भी यंग बैट्समैन है, उन्होंने काफी तगड़ा अपना इंप्रेशन जमाया है, और ये सीरीज से काफी ज्यादा एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं कि ये इनमें से 2-4 प्लेयर तो यहाँ से आपको वर्ल्ड कप में की टीम में या वर्ल्ड कप के स्क्वाड में तो फिक्स ही लगेंगे। तो मुझे लगता है कि श्रीलंका के यहाँ पे कोई चांस नहीं है। मैं यहाँ पे 3-0 से ही इंडिया सीरीज जीतेगा, ऐसे ही मैं प्रेडिक्शन कर रहा हूँ फिलहाल तो। और कल के मैच में भी काफी अच्छा मैच होना चाहिए तभी कैसे इंडियन टीम को थोड़ा मजा आएगा, नहीं तो ये मैच देखने का मजा नहीं आएगा और इंडियन टीम को प्रिपरेशन भी नहीं मिलेगी। हाँ, अगर भाई अगर आउट टू आउट बॉलिंग हो रही होंगी और आप मारते जा रहे हो, कोई कंपटीशन नहीं होगा, तो ऑब्वियसली सीरीज में मजा नहीं आएगा। इसलिए श्रीलंकन बॉलर्स ने काफी और थोड़ा अच्छा परफॉर्म करना चाहिए। बैटिंग उनकी थोड़ी बहुत लगी मुझे, काफी अच्छी बैटिंग कर लेते हैं, लोअर डाउन द ऑर्डर काफी अच्छे रन स्कोर किए, तो मुझे लगता है कि उनमें बैटिंग में थोड़ा उनमें दमखम है। अगर वो थोड़ा सा अपने आपको थोड़ा अच्छे से यूटिलाइज करते हैं तो ये काफी अच्छा स्कोर कर सकते हैं। अराउंड 300 भी स्कोर रहा तो इंडिया विल बी चेस डाउन इजीली, बट थोड़ा बहुत कंपटीशन देखने को मिलेगा, जैसे कि यहाँ पे लाइक 12-13 ओवर पहले ही मैच जल्दी खत्म हो गया, तो इस वजह से मुझे लगता है कि इंडिया का काफी बेस्ट चांस है ये सीरीज जीतने का, और यहाँ से काफी सारे लाइक आप पॉजिटिव ले जा सकते हैं बैटिंग में, उसी के साथ बॉलिंग में। कुलदीप यादव की मैं यहाँ बात करूंगा, ऑब्वियस उसने काफी कल अच्छा बॉल किया, 2 विकेट्स भी लिए, तो मुझे काफी अच्छा लगा। बहुत चैलेंज यूजेज है और कुलदीप यादव।
Lucas, who will win tomorrow's match? Lucas, am I audible? Who will win tomorrow's match between India versus Sri Lanka? Is Sri Lanka going to come back?
No, I think India are gonna win the other series. I think they're going to be too strong. Even though they are using a second string team, I don't see Sri Lanka doing any damage in this series. They've been quite a shambles for a while, Sri Lanka, not just in ODIs but in Test match cricket as well. I can't see them beating India. I think India should win very easily.
Okay, let's move to the question association, guys. Samar Desai has asked, England players continues the aggression in batting and also if wicket falls, the new batsmen are bats aggressively. So, what your take, guys? Lucas?
Well, it depends on this. It depends on the situation. England, they have a heavy hitting group, have power hitters in their team. Whether it's Bairstow, whether it's Alex Hales on the top order, David Milan is probably one of their better T20 players. And they're struggling where to put him. So it's a good problem to have. But with T20, you have to understand that it's made for these kind of batsmen that just play white ball cricket. We've seen David Milan, we've seen Jason Roy play in Red Bull games, especially Jason Roy in the Ashes, and you just get absolutely teed up, deer in the headlights, didn't know what to do. But when it comes to white ball cricket, he can play his natural game. That's what he is. He's an attacking cricketer. And that's what T20 is about. It's about attacking styles. And then you have to adapt into longer formats. Jason Roy, Alex Hales, who's been tried as a test player, didn't work. All these players thrive on this environment. They thrive on batting aggressively because that's what they want to do. And T20 allows them to do this. So even when early wickets fall, England will always have somebody that will come out and still play the same way. And that's why I'm talking about their depth is very, very strong. That someone can get injured, someone will come back in, like Bairstow, like a Butler, like a Alex Hales, like a Ben Stokes. So that's what makes their team so dynamic, is that even if someone gets injured, they can still replace it with someone who is an aggressive hitter.
Okay, final question, guys, and we will wrap the show. You need to give answer of this question also. Rupendra, you need to give this answer also, and Lucas, you need to give the answer of this also. Atul has asked prediction for T20 World Cup.
I
Who are
choose
the finalists?
India versus. Okay, my prediction will be India versus England in the final.
Lucas.
Someone just below said, "Hello, Lucas. How you doing? I'm doing good, thank you." And my prediction is, I don't think England will be in that final. Sorry. I'm going to pick India and New Zealand.
Okay, guys. So
Okay.
my prediction will be India versus West Indies. This is what my
Oh,
prediction gonna be T20 for T20 World Cup final. And that's it, guys. It's time to wrap the show. Thank you, Rupendra. Thank you, Lucas, for joining my show. It was lovely talking with you guys. I hope you have enjoyed the show, and we'll meet you tomorrow after the match finishes. We'll definitely meet after the match finishes. We'll do the post-match show tomorrow. So thank you, Lucas. Thank you, Rupendra. It's time to wrap the show. गाइस वीडियो पसंद आए तो वीडियो को लाइक करें, सब्सक्राइब भी जरूर करें और बेल आइकन को भी जरूर दबाएं. कोशिश करें, देख रहे हैं सब्सक्राइब नहीं कर रहे तो सब्सक्राइब जरूर कर ले यार. किस चीज का आपको इंतजार है? सब्सक्राइब करना नहीं भूले. Lucas, you are also saying that you need to subscribe now. Say to everyone, subscribe everyone.
Subscribe and watch and share with your friends. Don't just watch and don't subscribe. Subscribe.
एंड और नोटिफिकेशन बेल भी ऑन करके रखे ताकि आपको हर बार जब भी हम लाइव आए तो आपको नोटिफिकेशन आपको मिल जाए और आप भी हमारे साथ लाइव चैट में आ जाएं और क्वेश्चंस जरूर पूछे. आज के लिए इतना ही रहने देते हैं. और इंस्टाग्राम और ट्विटर पे मुझे फॉलो भी कर सकते हैं. इट्स गौरव अयान के नाम पे दोनों जगह पे हूँ. तब तक के लिए शुभ रात्रि, शुभ रात्रि, शुभ रात्रि गाइस. गुड नाइट लुकस, गुड नाइट रुपेंद्र. सी यू गाइस टुमारो.
See you guys tomorrow. Good night all.